Macca's Guides.
Hey guys, Macca here. Welcome to The Walking Dead, the final season, episode 3. In this video, I'll be showing you all of the missable achievements or trophies you can gain. Collectibles will be in a different video as I wasn't able to find all of them in my first or second playthrough. Now, the first achievement or trophy we can earn is called Best Girl, and it is awarded pretty early on in Act 1 when we're granted access to the basement to interrogate Abel. All you'll have to do is pet Rosie. However, I do have some bad news. In order to gain this, you will have to have the Good Girl and Great Girl achievements or trophies unlocked from the previous episodes, episode 1 and 2. If you haven't pet the dog twice before, the dog will not be friendly to you and you will not be allowed to pet them. Therefore, you won't be able to unlock this. You will have to replay those episodes and carry the save forward into episode 3 in order to get it. Now next, we're going to have a two-parter that happens at the very beginning and at the very end of the chapter, and that's going to be the As a Mouse achievement / trophy. The first part of it is during the interrogation with Abel. I personally let AJ wake him up, and then it doesn't really matter what you choose for the next couple of options. However, you will need to get to the point where he does smoke the cigarette. So what I decided to let him do was I just kind of didn't really talk. Then I responded with, "They've abandoned you." Then I said, "F your war." And then he's going to ask about a cigarette, which you will light. And then I let him smoke that, which I do believe is important. After that, the dialogue option I chose was, "I hope so." Then you have to let him sweat. Then you'll have to respond with, "You'll know soon enough." And at that point, he should reveal the secret to you. And the secret will be that he has a map of like locations in his boot, which you can inspect. And then after you inspect that, you'll be told that the call out is Rockingham. This is the important detail from this part of this little interaction, is that you learn the secret code, which is Rockingham. This knowledge is required for a dialogue option to show up later in the chapter or episode. However, it won't show up if you don't have Abel let you know what the call out is. So that's why we have to do this part first.
Only one we use these days is Rockingham. I can't believe you actually got me to give that up.
A little bit later on in Act 1, we will come to a point where we have to spy on the raiders, and during this section we can unlock the All-Seeing achievement or trophy. Now what you want to keep in mind is that basically you have to inspect all possible elements during this section. You will first approach Violet and then look through your binoculars, and I believe there are a total of 5 things you will need to interact with. I don't believe the order of them matters, but if you do want to be safe, you can follow along with the video. If you do inspect certain things, you will be able to press B to back out of your binoculars. However, make sure you do not do this. Instead of backing away from your binoculars, continue scanning the screen until you can examine everything. And once you have everything examined, you will be forced out of the binoculars by the game. So that's what I would recommend. Just keep inspecting things until you are forced out of the binoculars. Now, once you are forced out of the binoculars with Violet, there are also going to be 2 additional characters that you can interact with. One of them is going to be AJ, and AJ will mention something about some horses. And instead of inspecting the horses, what I did was I inspected the torches, and then I inspected the horses, and then I was kicked out of his little cutscene. And then the third person I had to talk to, I believe, was Willie. And Willie also had a couple of things to look through. I think I had to look through some rafts as well as a torch and some extra supplies. And I made sure to look at everything with Willie until I was forced out of that section. Upon being forced out of all 3 sections, you should have been able to now interact with all possible items in all possible scenarios. And the All-Seeing achievement or trophy should unlock at this point. Feel free to follow along with my video though, if you so desire. This section does take around 3 to 4 minutes though, so keep that in mind. I will let the clip play out, obviously, so you guys can play along. And I apologize for a couple of audio sync issues with just this clip in particular. I'm not really sure what happened, but for some reason the audio and video got out of sync, and it wasn't too easy to fix.
They have horses.
Let me see. Are those torches?
I think so.
Could be easy fire. Setting the hay on fire would get their attention. Scare the horses, too.
We could get on the boat easier that way.
If we cut those horses free, we could slow down anyone trying to chase us. Anything useful?
Looks like building material. Furniture. Probably stuff from the train station.
More torches.
Torches?
We could use the fire.
Oh, yeah.
They're loading those rafts with supplies.
I could cut those loose and just ride them downriver. Easy.
Sheet metal, wood, and quite a bit of it.
We should have that stuff.
We should get out of here before they spot us. We can talk through the plan once we're somewhere safe.
Now, a little bit later, after spying on the raiders, you will meet up with James, and he will mention that his mask is stuck at the camp, and he will ask you kindly to help him. He'll also ask you to not kill any of the walkers, as he respects them and would prefer if you don't. So during this entire section, which lasts about maybe 2 or 3 minutes, you have to make sure that you don't kill any of the walkers. If you do get into a dangerous situation, you can get killed and it'll just kind of refresh or restart the checkpoint, and then you can try again. Basically, all you want to do is make sure to use the B button in order to stun the walkers, and this will basically kind of kick them to the floor. But as long as you don't press Y, you should be good. Y is kind of like the execution button, which would stab them and kill them. So I'm just going to basically kind of run around with my right shoulder button, the bumper. I'm going to kick them and then kind of try to escape and make sure to kick my way out. After about 30 or 40 seconds of this, you will trigger a point where James does pick up his face mask. However, you are not quite done the achievement or trophy yet. You will need to push a buggy off of a ledge, and as you are doing this, you will be attacked by another walker. And during this small attack, you will need to stun the walker instead of killing it to make sure you can grab this mercy achievement or trophy. And once you do all that, you should be good to go.
I know it would have been easier to kill them. You're kind. I appreciate it. Really.
Shortly after that, we can grab a really easy one, still in Act 1, called Did You Lick It? You will reach this kind of barn area. You'll be told to talk to James, but before doing so, you want to go up to AJ, and you'll be able to inspect the salt lick he is looking at. And when you're given the dialogue option, make sure you tell him not to lick it. He'll then ask you if you ever licked one, and you should unlock this achievement or trophy. Additionally, in this section, before talking to James, there is a collectible called a toy. I was not able to find all the collectibles on my first playthrough, which is why there is a separate video for collectibles if you'd like to follow that one along as well. Now, after being a fair bit into Act 2, you will be in a party situation. You'll play some music, you guys will sit down and look through some old files, and you will get to talking, and Violet will tell a story. Now, obviously, if you have Lewis here instead of Violet, things will play out more or less the same. During that story, I said, "I'm sorry, Violet," as my dialogue option, but I'm not sure if this was necessary. This eventually led to 10 asking Violet if she could sing for them, and without any input from me, she just started singing. At the end of her song, which lasted a good minute or two, I unlocked the achievement or trophy called Nightlight, and the description for this achievement reads, "Made sure they slept tight," and as far as I can understand it, it's just for allowing Violet to sing. I don't know what you'd have to pick or what you'd have to do to make her not sing. And from all my testing, there was nothing I could actually do to prevent them from singing, so you'll want to keep that in mind. So I'm not really sure how you can miss this one, but it basically just unlocked itself through very little input from me. Now the next one we can grab is called Personal Space, and it takes place at the end of Act 2, right as we are trying to enter the boat. You'll reach the door and it'll start opening and some walkers will attack you. What I did to earn this is I drew my bow and arrow and I killed all 4 of them using headshots. Personally, I didn't miss any shots, but I do believe you are allowed to miss shots. What you have to do is you have to make sure to kill all of them with your arrow though. And you have to make sure you don't enter any hand-to-hand combat as I understand it, and it should unlock. Now we are in Act 3, and we can do the second part of the As a Mouse achievement / trophy. As you sneak around the boat, you'll eventually be almost caught by one of the guards, and he will call out to you. Because of how we interacted or interrogated Abel near the beginning of this episode, we now have an option that says Rockingham, and we will click that instead of the other 2, which will allow us to use the proper call out, and then he should act in a different way than the other 2 options, allowing us to unlock the achievement or trophy for being as quiet as a mouse.
Yeah, it looks like it. That's where we need to plant the bomb.
Last but not least, near the end of Act 3, you'll wake up inside of a cell with either Lewis or Violet, and then instead of inspecting the door, which is your kind of primary focus, inspect the wood paneling next to the door in order to interact with an area that says look at scratches. After taking a look at those scratches, you will unlock the achievement or trophy called Tally. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe for future content similar to this. I will have a video or videos for episode 4 as well. A special thank you to the amazing people on Patreon for supporting the show. Drop a like if the video was helpful, and hopefully I'll see you guys soon. Peace.